Hey, welcome to the Mortgage Minute for Tuesday, August 31st, end of the summer. Oh my goodness, I can't believe it. We're looking outside right now here in Vancouver. It is raining and cold, marking the start of fall, maybe? I don't know. Kids are going back to school, end of summer. Take a few days off, and my goodness, come back to lots of headlines. Let's start with the top one. Look at this. Today, housing bubble. You're going to hear lots about this. If you haven't already, this is going to be major headline news. Housing bubble to burst. Big question mark. Why is that news? Well, because the Canadian Centre for Policy Alternatives wrote up a whole release, a publication here. Canada's housing bubble. Wrote a report on that. Interesting. Look at the headlines. Every paper in the country has this housing bubble report. Do you know the C.D. Howe Institute, the same day, today, August 31st, wrote Low Risk of U.S.-Style Housing Bubble Burst in Canada by the C.D. Howe Institute. So here are two conflicting headlines. Which one reaches the papers? The negative one, obviously. So this is interesting. The Globe and Mail actually has some good insight onto this. Report paints gloomy real estate pictures. Well, the headline says gloomy, but if you read it, it actually shows that in every case of historical past where someone didn't panic and held onto their property during a bubble bursting, within 9 to 10 years, they were up on average over 50% increase in value. So, you know, again, it's all perspective. Now, we read a little deeper, dig a little deeper behind the headlines, and it says the reason there'll be a bubble burst is if, get this, if there's a sharp rise in rates. So again, all they're really saying is if the government, or sorry, the government or the banks have a sharp rise in rates, and due to a slow rising of rates, well, wait a second, as far as I can tell, the long-term fixed rates have all dropped over the last month. In fact, we are inching closer and closer to historically low rates. But this is all about if we have a sharp rise in rates, we're going to have a bubble burst. No kidding. So again, my point today is don't read into the headline. Don't get caught up in the hype of the headlines. I mean, look at this. Bank of Canada is set for emergency meeting. They're saying how the yen, the rising yen's causing problems in Japan. Here's another one. The Wall Street saying Canada's rebound losing its bounce. You know what that indicates? That indicates that on September 8th, Mark Carney is going to be in a very, very difficult position to raise rates. Now, the housing bubble will be caused by a sharp rise in rates. But all the international headlines are going to tell Mark Carney that on September 8th, which, by the way, is the next time the Bank of Canada meets, he's going to be pressured to keep rates the same. So, as long as we don't have a spike in interest rates, there should be no bubble. So please, learn how to interpret the headlines and realize that fear-mongering is rampant. What you need to know is follow the facts. You can follow the facts at my website, peterkinch.com. I'll keep you posted as we inch closer to the September 8th policy decision by the Bank of Canada. Talk to you then.